All right, deputies, are you all ready? Deputies, can you hear me? Ms.
Good
Toles, do
morning,
you
Your
hear?
Honor. Yes, sir, we are ready. We're pulling the inmates out at this time, sir.
Hello, Your Honor. Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning.
No. Okay, but the gun's free. They want to let it go.
Your hands out your shirt. Your hands out your shirt.
Deputies, I lost visual on you.
Can you restate that, Your Honor?
I was saying I couldn't hear you. Your video went out.
Oh, okay.
It goes straight back.
Or hear or see you. Okay. If you all are ready, I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
We're ready.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Marcus Thorpe. I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here in Clayton County. It is 11:01 here this morning, and we are getting ready to start what we call first appearance. We are now streaming live, ladies and gentlemen. If you all are having trouble hearing me as we go through this, please let me know. There are a few things that I'm going to go over with you prior to starting the calendar here this morning. So please listen carefully as it will better help you understand the nature and purpose of today's proceeding. First, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear me say this a couple of times. I am not here to try your case. I am not here to take a plea or have any legal discussion with you about the specific facts of your case. The purpose of your first appearance here today is to inform you of the charges against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bond on those offenses for which I am authorized to set bond, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. Now, ladies and gentlemen, each of you has the right to remain silent. So please, again, do not tell me or attempt to tell me any specifics about your case or to give me any legal defense you may have. As I said earlier, we are streaming live. This is being recorded. So anything you say can and will be used against you. And you make each and every one of us, including the other individuals in that room with you or the officers, witnesses, if you say anything inappropriate. Now, in addition to the right to remain silent, you have the right to a presumption of innocence. You have the right to an indictment by grand jury for felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf. You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense. And you have the right to an attorney to represent you if you cannot afford one. Also, for those of you all who are not citizens of the U.S., some charges may adversely affect your immigration status, and so you will need to consult an attorney specializing in that area. Now, in addition to talking to you about what you are charged with, ladies and gentlemen, and that, of course, being your bond, there are some of you all who will have what we call special conditions. And what that means is, ladies and gentlemen, that in addition to talking to you about how much your bond is, allowing you to get out until your case is resolved, I'm going to talk to you about special conditions that for some of you all may be attached to your bond. Now, first, as it relates to bond, when each of you comes before me, I'm going to tell you how much your bond is, which is how much you need to pay in order to get out. And there are three ways that you can make bond. You can either pay the full amount in cash, you can use a commercial bonding company, or you can use a property bond, which means that you would have to either yourself or someone you know bring a deed to a piece of property that you own down to the sheriff's office, who would hold on to it until your case is resolved. Now, again, the first way I say that you can make bond is by cash. So that means if you have, for example, I tell you that your bond is $6,000, you are charged with battery, family violence. you or someone you know would deliver that full amount, $6,000, along with any fees the sheriff's office charges, and they would hold that money against you until your case is closed. Now, if you don't have the full amount and you want to use a bonding company, the bonding companies will typically require that you pay anywhere from 12 to 15% of the bond. So again, if I tell you your charge is family violence and your bond is $6,000, you would have to come up with roughly about $450. The difference, however, is you don't get that money back. The bonding company keeps it. And then the final way that I mentioned is a property bond. Again, if your bond is $6,000, then someone would need to bring the deed to a piece of property or a home that they own, and they would have to have 3 times the equity in that piece of property. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are some of you that will have special conditions that prohibit you from doing things if you make your bond. It'll prohibit you from contacting certain people or to go to certain places. And so if I tell you that you're to have no contact on your bond, that means, ladies and gentlemen, please stay away and have no contact with the person that I tell you not to have contact with. That means you may not call them, text them, email them, write a letter to, or contact them through any social media platform. You can't even do something as simple or as nice as write them a song or send them flowers. Now, if I tell you not to return to a particular place, that means, again, don't go to that location for any reason. If it turns out that the place I told you not to go to is a place that you were living before the alleged incident happened, please let me know. And for most of you where I read that, I will authorize you to be allowed to go back there to pick up items that are yours, but you have to be accompanied by a Clayton County Sheriff's officer, and you can only do so within 10 days of your release on bond. Now, as I told you, each of you, ladies and gentlemen, some of you will have these restrictions on your bond, not to go places, not to speak to people. Please, again, listen to me and abide by them. Because if you refuse and you are rearrested, you are subject to a bond revocation and subject to new charges of either aggravated stalking or influencing a witness, which carry up to 20 years in prison as a felony or $20,000 in fines. Now, lastly, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, just two more things. One, if there's anybody here that intends to make bond or can make bond, please remember that the alleged victim or family member, if they are someone that you are calling or asking to come down and bond you out, by the law in the state of Georgia, they cannot. Now, lastly, for those of you all who are charged with misdemeanor crimes this morning, I'm going to talk to you about what is called a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is not your trial. It's where you are present, the judge is present, and the police officer is present to talk to you about what you're charged with and to determine if there's enough evidence to go forward in your case to then formally charge you, okay? If they determine that there is not enough evidence, your case can be dismissed for that time. It may come back later, but it could be dismissed. If you are charged with a misdemeanor this morning, I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, do you want that hearing or do you want to waive that hearing? If you want that hearing, I'll give you a date for it, and then you will report, just like you are on Zoom here today, for that hearing. You will be there, your attorney, and the police officer, and the judge. No jury. If you tell me, Judge, I don't really want that hearing, that's fine. I won't give it to you. And it does mean your case will move a little bit faster down the line to the prosecutor. So again, if you're charged with a misdemeanor, I will give you that option here to either have that preliminary hearing or waive it. For those of you who are charged with felonies, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the date that you're going to have that hearing if you are unable to make bond. Now, what I need, ladies and gentlemen, is for everyone to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're about to give to this court, well as any information you've provided on your application for court-appointed counsel, is true and correct? And if it is, please say I do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, each of you may lower your hand. All right. Ms. Toles, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. All right, Ms. Toles, I want to go ahead and swear you in. Ma'am, if you would please raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm that the information that you are about to give and to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English will be the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. All right, deputies, if we could have all gentlemen close enough so they could hear. All right. All right. Ms. Toles, if you would please just introduce yourself.
Hola, señores, buenos días. Soy la intérprete que les voy a ayudar hoy.
Yes.
Good morning.
All right, good morning, gentlemen. My name is Judge Thorpe,
Buenos días, señores. Yo soy el juez Thorpe
and I am here to talk to each of you about what you are charged with.
y estoy aquí para hablar con cada uno de ustedes sobre los cargos que se le ha imputado.
Okay? I am not here to take a plea or to talk to you about the facts of your case.
No estoy aquí para que ustedes respondan ante las acusaciones, tampoco para hablar sobre los hechos de su caso.
So please, let's not talk about the specific facts of your case because this is being recorded.
Así que por favor no hablemos de los hechos específicos de su caso porque esta audiencia se está grabando.
Now, for each of you, I'm going to call you up one by one, and I'm going to tell you what you are charged with, and I'm going to tell you how much your bond is.
Para cada uno de ustedes voy a hablar con ustedes individualmente y decirle de cuáles son los cargos imputados y de cuánto es la fianza.
For some of you, I will give you a new court date, and I will tell you whether or not you qualify to have an attorney to assist you.
Para algunos de ustedes le voy a dar la fecha de su próxima cita judicial y también informarles si cumplen los criterios para un abogado de oficio.
As we go through this process this morning, gentlemen, please remember each of you has the right to remain silent.
Durante esta audiencia de hoy, caballeros, les pido que recuerden que cada uno de ustedes tienen el derecho a permanecer callado.
You have the right to a presumption of innocence.
Tiene derecho a ser presunto inocente.
You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
Tiene derecho a un juicio público y sin demora con un jurado.
You have the right to indictment by a grand jury for a felony or by accusation for misdemeanor.
Tiene derecho a la presentación de un documento inculpatorio cuando se trata de delitos graves por medio del gran jurado o una acusación cuando se trata de delitos menores.
You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
Tiene el derecho a exigir la presencia de testigos para que declaren a nombre suyo.
You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
Tienen el derecho a ver, a escuchar y a interrogar los testigos citados a declarar en su contra.
You have the right to testify yourself at any hearing moving forward.
Tienen el derecho de declarar ustedes mismos en cualquier audiencia de aquí en adelante.
You also have the right to an attorney if you qualify for one.
También tienen derecho a un abogado si califica para uno.
Now, as I talk to each of you about your bond, please understand there are three ways to make bond.
Ahora, mientras estoy hablando con cada uno de ustedes sobre la fianza, acuérdense que hay tres maneras de pagar la fianza.
And if you can make your bond, that will allow you to get out until your case is closed.
Y si pueden pagar la fianza, eso permite que salgan de la cárcel hasta que su caso se cierre.
You can either pay the bond in full,
Podría pagar la fianza por completo,
or you can use a bonding company that will only require you pay a portion of the bond.
o podría hacer uso de una compañía de fianzas que solamente requiere que pague una porción de la fianza.
Or you can use what is called a property bond. You or someone you know owns a piece of property that they have a deed to that they can bring down to the courthouse for the sheriff's office to hold for you.
O podría hacer uso de lo que se llama una fianza de propiedad. Si usted o alguien que usted conoce tiene una propiedad y tiene la escritura de tal propiedad, puede presentar esa escritura a la oficina de los alguaciles como la garantía de su fianza.
Now, for some of you, I may tell you that you have additional conditions beyond your bond. And if I do, please make sure to follow my instructions.
Para algunos de ustedes posiblemente les voy a decir que tiene unas condiciones adicionales, aparte de las condiciones normales de la fianza. Así que por favor, acátese a esas condiciones si tiene estas.
Failure to follow my instructions and not have contact with people or to not go places I tell you not to go could result in you being arrested again and subject to felony arrest.
En cumplimiento con mis instrucciones, si usted llega a tener contacto con alguien a quien se le prohíbe o ir a un lugar donde se le prohíbe ir, puede resultar en que lo vuelven a arrestar y que le formulen cargos a nivel grave.
Now, for each of you gentlemen who are charged with misdemeanors, after we are done, I'm going to ask you about what is called a preliminary hearing.
Para ustedes que se le han imputado delitos menores, les voy a preguntar sobre lo que es la audiencia preliminar.
Your preliminary hearing is not time for a plea or time for a trial.
La audiencia preliminar no es para que manifiesten una declaración ante los cargos, tampoco es el juicio del caso.
However, it is the time that you are present, the judge is present, your attorney and the police officer to go over your case.
Sin embargo, es el momento donde usted está presente, el juez está presente, su abogado, defensor y el agente de policía está presente para repasar el caso.
Now, for those of you all charged with misdemeanors, I will ask you if you would like that hearing while your case is still pending, or you can tell me, Judge, I don't want that hearing, and I will move your case along to the next stage in this process.
Ahora, para ustedes que tienen delitos menores, les voy a preguntar si quieren tener la audiencia o si prefieren renunciar a esa audiencia, y si me indiquen que sí quisiera renunciar, yo puedo hacer que su caso pase al próximo nivel judicial.
All right, gentlemen, if I could have Mr. Pablo Armenta first, please.
Si el señor Pablo Armenta puede pasar adelante primero.
All right. All right, good morning, Mr. Armenta.
Buenos días, señor Armenta.
Yes.
Good morning.
You are charged with stop sign violation and failure to signal before turning.
A usted se le ha imputado los cargos, señor, de incumplimiento de un pare y no, I'm sorry, Your Honor, if the interpreter may ask, that was failure to signal before stopping.
Failure to signal, that was it.
Y con un cargo de no usar las luces direccionales.
Okay. And then lastly, you are charged with driving with no license.
Por último, se le ha imputado el cargo de manejar sin licencia.
Okay. Are you currently working, sir?
¿Está trabajando, señor, actualmente?
Sí.
Yes.
How much do you earn per month?
¿Cuánto está ganando al mes?
Al mes, 4,000.
A month, 4,000.
Okay. So, sir, if you would need to hire an attorney, you will have to hire your own. You do not qualify this morning for me to appoint one to you.
Entonces, señor, si quisiera tener un abogado, tendría que contratar a su propio abogado. Usted no cumple los criterios para un abogado de oficio esta mañana.
Okay. Now, based on some information that I have before me, sir, I am going to go ahead and release you this morning. But please make sure that before you are released, that we have the best address for you. So you will get your new court date in the mail.
Entonces, señor, basándome en la información que tengo delante, a usted lo voy a dejar en libertad hoy día. Solamente asegúrese, por favor, que antes de dejar la cárcel, que usted deje su mejor dirección de contacto para poder recibir su próxima cita judicial por correo.
Ok, está bien.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, sir. Unless you have questions for me, that's all I have. Good luck to you.
Muy bien, señor. A no ser que tenga preguntas para mí, es todo para hoy. Buena suerte.
Es todo, gracias.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lorenzo Calderon.
Señor Lorenzo Calderón.
That's Pablo.
What happened? Lorenzo.
I had him as a Spanish speaker as well.
Hey, Lorenzo, D&D talks.
Okay. While we're waiting on him, could I have Crescencio Vasquez Acosta?
Mientras estamos esperando al señor Calderón, ¿puede pasar el señor José Crescencio Acosta?
All right. Good morning, sir.
Buenos días, señor.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
All right. Give me 1 second here. No. Ms. Toles, if you would, tell him to, my apologies, I'm gonna have to locate his paperwork. I don't believe that they gave it to me this morning.
Permítame, señor, perdón, es que tengo que buscar la documentación de su caso. No creo que me lo han entregado aún esta mañana.
And so if he would just have a seat there at the bench for us.
Si sería tan amable de tomar asiento y luego después hablará con usted.
Not you, Mr. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, yep. If I could have Mr. Rafi, oh, is that the gentleman?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, are you Mr. Calderon?
Señor Calderón?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Calderon, my name is Judge Thorpe, and I'm here to talk to you about what you've been charged with, okay?
Bueno, señor Calderón, yo soy el juez Thorpe y estoy aquí para hablarle sobre los cargos imputados. ¿Está bien?
You were initially charged with 1 count of fleeing from a police officer,
Inicialmente a usted le imputaron el cargo de huir de un agente de policía,
1 count of DUI,
un cargo de manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol,
1 count of reckless driving,
un cargo de manejar con descuido o
And one-
imprudentemente
and 1 count of aggravated assault.
y un cargo de agresión con agravante.
After reviewing your paperwork, sir, I have dismissed the count of aggravated assault and DUI.
Después de repasar la documentación aquí, señor, he desestimado los cargos de agresión con agravantes y de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol.
So your bond is going to be $10,000 for the fleeing and $2,000 for the reckless driving.
Su fianza será de $10,000 por lo de huir y $2,000 por lo de manejar con imprudencia.
Okay. Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende esto, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you currently working, sir?
¿Está trabajando actualmente, señor? Yes.
And how much are you earning per month?
¿Y cuánto está ganando al mes?
500 a la semana. Depende.
The interpreter is going to ask him to repeat. I wasn't able to hear. 500 a la semana, dice?
Sí.
$500 a week.
Depende qué día trabaje.
It depends on the days that I work.
Okay. So, sir, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I am gonna appoint an attorney to help you on your case this morning, okay?
Señor, usted sí cumple los criterios para un abogado de oficio, así que voy a designar un abogado para ayudarle en su caso. ¿Está bien?
Está bien.
Okay.
Okay. Now, should you not make your bond, sir, your next court date is going to be August 12th of 2024 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom, like we are here this morning, okay?
Señor, si usted no sale en libertad de la cárcel bajo fianza, entonces su próxima audiencia será el 12 de agosto 2024 a las 8:30 por medio de Zoom, de igual manera que lo estamos haciendo esta audiencia de hoy.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí, señor?
So, ¿cuánto es la fianza, digo, de los cargos?
So how much did you say the bond was for both of those charges?
10,000 for the first, 1,000 for the second, for a total of 12,000.
10,000 para el primer cargo, 2,000 para el segundo, entonces es un total de 12,000.
Ok,
Okay.
gracias.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Está bien, buena suerte, señor.
Go over there.
All right, if I could have up next, Mr. Coral Reyes.
¿Qué pasa el señor Corral Reyes?
All right, are you Mr. Reyes?
¿Es usted el señor Reyes?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Reyes, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated stalking,
Señor Reyes, a usted se le ha imputado un cargo de hostigamiento con agravantes.
okay? Now, because of your charges, sir, I am not permitted to grant you bond this morning.
Bueno, debido a la naturaleza de este cargo, señor, a mí no me permiten imponerle fianza.
Okay. You will have two upcoming court dates. The first will be on August 12th and the second on August 16th.
Pero usted tiene dos citas judiciales pendientes. El primero será el 12 de agosto y de ahí el próximo será el 16 de agosto.
At that time, someone will be able to reconsider your bond.
En ese momento, otro juez podrá reconsiderar la fianza para usted.
Both court dates will be at 8:30 a.m. and they will be on the computer like you are this morning.
Ambas audiencias será a las 8:30 de la mañana y por computadora de la misma manera que estamos haciendo esta audiencia de hoy.
And I am going to appoint you an attorney here free of charge, sir, to help you on your case.
Y sí, le voy a nombrar un abogado aquí para ayudarle en su caso sin costo para usted.
All right. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
¿Tiene, señor, alguna pregunta para mí?
Sí, no entiendo cuál es mi cargo ya.
I don't understand. What is my charge again?
Aggravated stalking. It means that you did not abide by a requirement to stay away from someone.
Es hostigamiento con agravantes, lo cual significa que usted no obedeció un requisito de mantenerse alejado de una persona en particular.
A mí me dijeron que no me acercara a mi esposa y a mis hijas. Yo no me acercaba a ellas.
They said to not have contact with my wife and my daughters, but I have not
Yo
tried
vivo
to contact them.
a 200 yardas de la casa. Yo vivo.
I'm 200 yards away from the house.
Okay. Well, sir, remember, at this time, I cannot get into details about the facts of your case. So please save that information for your attorney when he is assigned.
Acuérdese que yo no puedo meterme en los hechos y detalles de su caso, así que guarde esa información para cuando hable con su abogado.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Good luck to you.
Muy bien, buena suerte, señor.
And is this, and what is your name, sir?
¿Cuál es su nombre, señor?
Ricardo Vargas.
Ricardo Vargas.
Okay. Give me 1 second. here.
Permítame un momento, señor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Vargas, you are charged with 1 count of failure to maintain lane,
Muy bien, señor Vargas. ¿A usted se le ha imputado un cargo de no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito?
1 count of driving without a license,
Un cargo de manejar sin licencia,
1 count of striking a fixed object,
un cargo de chocar con un objeto fijo.
okay? And your bond amount for the first charge, failure to maintain lane, is $500.
La fianza para el primer cargo, no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito, es $500.
Your bond amount for striking the object is $500.
La fianza por lo de chocar con un objeto fijo es de $500.
And your bond amount for driving without a license is $1,500.
Y la fianza por manejar sin licencia es $1,500.
Are you currently working, sir?
¿Está trabajando actualmente, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
And how much are you earning per month?
¿Y cuánto está ganando al mes?
3,800, 4,000.
3,800, 4,000.
So based on the information, sir, that you have provided me, I cannot appoint you a lawyer free of charge. So you will have to hire your own if you need a lawyer to assist you.
Bueno, señor, basándome en la información que usted me ha proporcionado, no le puedo designar un abogado sin costo alguno para usted. Si necesita un abogado que le ayude, tendrá que contratar a su propio abogado.
Okay. Now, lastly, I mentioned to you earlier preliminary hearing, which is a hearing where you are present, the judge, police officer, and attorney. Would you like that hearing or no?
Bueno, anteriormente yo les mencioné la audiencia preliminar, la audiencia en la cual usted estará presente, el juez, su abogado y el agente del caso. ¿Quisiera usted tener esa audiencia?
¿Cuándo sería?
When would it be?
The hearing would be on August 13th if you don't bond out.
Será el 13 de agosto si usted no sale bajo fianza.
Ok, pero podría salir hoy con bajo fianza si pagan. Creo que ya pagó mi familia.
Okay, but I could get out on bond today. If it's paid, I think my family has already paid it.
Okay, great. So then what I'll do is I will show that you are waiving your right to that bond. And so I'm not gonna set that date for you, okay?
Muy bien, señor. Entonces voy a hacer constar acá que usted está renunciando su derecho a esa fianza y no voy a programar la fecha de esa audiencia.
And so, Mr. Vargas, there will be a piece of paper that the deputies will need for you to sign. And once you sign that paper, that's all I have for you.
Entonces, señor Vargas, hay un documento que los agentes le van a poner a firmar. Una vez que firme, será todo.
Ricardo?
Yes.
Okay. And Deputy, Mr. Armenta needs to sign as well.
Armenta got to sign, Mr. Vasquez Acosta was unable to sign, his box is still waiting.
Yes, we haven't done Mr. Acosta. It should only be Mr. Armenta and Mr. Vargas that are signing waivers. Mr. Acosta, I'm holding on.
Okay, so Ricardo is signing a waiver, and who else is signing a waiver? What's the second name?
Mr. Vargas, the guy in front of you, and Mr. Pablo Armenta.
Okay.
Those are the only two. Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Una pregunta más.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
See,
¿Tengo fianza para salir hoy?
I have a bond to get out today.
Yes, if your family has made bond for you, you'll be released sometime in the next 24 hours.
Sí, si su familia ya pagó la fianza, usted saldrá en libertad dentro de las próximas 24 horas.
Muy amable, muchas gracias.
You've been very kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Toles.
Gracias a usted. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right, deputies, if we could go ahead and get started with
The women?
the women on jobs. I've got first Miss Antoinette Evans.
Okay.
I've got Evans, Knox, and then Mayo, M-A-Y-O.
Evans, Knox, and Mayo.
Yes, ma'am, you'll be fine. Devin Knox.
Y'all have a seat.
All right, are you Miss Evans?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Miss Evans, you are charged with possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. You're also charged with possession of drug-related objects, ma'am. Based on the information that you provided to me, ma'am, I am gonna go ahead and release you here this morning. Doesn't mean your case is closed, ma'am, but I am gonna let you go home today, okay?
Thank you.
All right, and ma'am, I understand here, it says you're making about $10,000 a month, is that correct?
Yes, sir, we're getting this was nice.
Okay, so Miss Evans, based on that, I am not going to be able to give you a lawyer free of charge. And so that means that if you would like a lawyer to help you on your case, ma'am, you will have to hire your own, okay?
Yes, sir. So I'm okay to go. I'm good.
Yes, ma'am, they're gonna release you later today, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Where do I go?
Yes, ma'am.
Side.
Bring it back tomorrow. So do I need to sign something for anything?
Yes, ma'am, you do need to sign a waiver. Yes, ma'am. I was gonna get that to you. You kind of jumped off for it real quick. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank God.
Ma'am, step up, step up.
All right, next up should be Knox and then Mayo. Are you Miss Knox?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Miss Knox, you are charged with 1 count of possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. Your bond amount for that is $1,000. You are charged with 1 count of loitering and prowling. Your bond amount for that is $500. You are charged with 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Each charge carries a bond of $1,500. Your total bond is $4,500. Do you understand that, ma'am?
$4,500, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, based on the information that you provided, ma'am, I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, so you will get a lawyer free of charge. The only other thing I need to ask you, ma'am, is, as I mentioned earlier, about the preliminary hearing. Would you like to have your hearing, ma'am, or waive it?
Waive it because I want to go and get this out the way. I'm pregnant and I'm
Okay.
ready to go home. And
Yes, ma'am. So the deputies there will have a piece of paper for you to sign, and once you sign that piece of paper, ma'am, that's all I got for you this morning. Good luck to you.
so 45 is 12%, right?
15%, so 4,500. You're looking at about $600 if you use a bonding company.
$600.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, next up should be Mayo, and then after Mayo, I've got Robinson and Singleton of the females.
Mayo's in front of you, sir.
All right, are you Miss Mayo?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mayo, you are charged with one count of violating a family violence order. That is a misdemeanor. Your bond amount is $10,000, ma'am. You will also have a special condition, and that is to stay away from the address of 9862 Brax Way, B-R-A-X Way. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now, according to the information I have here, you are not currently working. Is that correct, ma'am?
No.
Okay, so because you are not working, I am gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge that will help you on your case. The last thing I need to ask you, ma'am, as it relates to your preliminary hearing, would you like to have that hearing, ma'am, or waive that hearing?
No, I need my preliminary.
Say that one more time.
My preliminary.
You do want it?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, your preliminary hearing then date is going to be August 13th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, ma'am, that's going to be August 13th and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, you're fine.
All right, ma'am, then that's all I have for you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Rihanna.
She requested her preliminary, so she didn't need it.
It's not letting them sign the docs though, Your Honor.
It should, which one are you having trouble signing for right now?
Nikita Knox, Latia Mayo.
So just try Knox right now. I'm doing Mayo just as we speak. Knox should be able to sign.
There you go.
Okay, wait, preliminary hearing. No, August 13th. It may just be that it's running a little slow, so I'm not sure why it would otherwise do that. Okay. And are you Miss Robinson?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Miss Robinson, again, my name is Judge Thorpe here this morning. I'm going to talk to you, ma'am, about what you've been charged with, okay?
Okay.
Now, Miss Robinson, you were charged with one count of simple battery, one count of criminal trespass. As to the simple battery, ma'am, your bond amount is $3,000. As to the trespass is $2,000. You do have special conditions, and those are to stay away from Brianna Robinson and to stay away from the address of 30. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I apologize. I didn't mean to say Brianna Robinson. But you are to stay away from the alleged victim in the matter. Excuse me. And you are also to stay away from the address of 3538 Saddle Creek. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, I just have a question.
Hold on, let me get through this. Now, my first question to you, is that where you were living?
Yes, sir.
Now, as I said earlier, if that's a place that you were living at the time that this occurred, please understand that if you make bond, you are allowed to return to that area, but you're only allowed to go there if Ms. Hall's still there, but you have to be accompanied by a sheriff's deputy. Do you understand that? Ma'am, did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, go ahead. What was your question?
Yes, I was about to ask, what if I was staying there before, but you already told me so.
Yes, ma'am. So if you were staying there before, as soon as you are released, within 10 days of your release, you want to get with the sheriff's office and then ask them to escort you there. So you're not allowed to go there without them, okay?
Okay, and how much is my bond altogether, you said?
Total bond, ma'am, is $5,000.
Okay.
Now, the last question I have for you, ma'am, is as it relates to the preliminary hearing. How did you want to handle that, Ms. Robinson? So again, just to kind of go over that really quickly with you, you have a right to that hearing, or you can waive that hearing because you are charged with a misdemeanor.
I could waive it.
Okay, and I'm showing here that you're making, it says about, is that $2 grand? That's $3 grand a month, is that right?
Two.
You said 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me do this. So I am gonna go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning to help you on your case, ma'am. And so what that means is you will get a lawyer free of charge, okay?
Okay, but even if I already have one, I'm hired. Well, my mom, she hired me and a lawyer. So do I still?
Well, what'll happen, ma'am, let me just go ahead and appoint you one this morning. But If it turns out that you have, like you said, a lawyer that will be able to assist you on this case, then what'll happen then is that lawyer will know how to do what is called a substitution of counsel. And then at that point, that person becomes your lawyer, and then the appointed lawyer goes away, okay?
Okay,
All right, Ms. Robinson, good luck to you.
thank you. You have a good one.
You too. Next up, I've got Singletary, and then on the men, I have first up Amaya, Anderson, and Batchley. All right, are you Miss Singletary?
That's correct.
Ms. Singletary, you are charged with one count of criminal trespass as a misdemeanor, ma'am. Your bond amount is $2,000. First, let's talk about this preliminary hearing. Would you like to have this hearing, ma'am, or waive this hearing?
I would like to have the hearing because I'm innocent.
Okay, and so your next court date, ma'am, should you not make your bond, is going to be August 13th at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom, okay?
Can't afford a bond right now. I'm in school. I get free school, free housing. So I
Yes,
should have
ma'am.
a bond
Sure.
when I was
Yes.
emancipated.
Well, ma'am, that's not going to happen today. Now, however, because of that information that you told me, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will get a lawyer, ma'am, free of charge to help you on your case. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So again, you've made the choice not to waive your preliminary, so it'll be August 13th. Your bond amount is $2,000. Let me tell you, you do have to stay away from that address, 758 Highway 85, that particular apartment complex. If it's,
Because the lady pointed a gun at me. She could've-
I understand, ma'am, we can't talk about the facts here today. I'm just telling you what I've got here today.
I hear you.
And so, if, ma'am, that was someplace you were living at some point and you are released before your case is resolved, just keep in mind, you are not allowed to go to that address without the sheriff's department. Do you understand?
Cool. No worries.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
One second, yeah, I'm get you all the mails I got.
Okay, no problem.
I need Amaya first. Wait,
Amaya, Anderson, and then Batchley is what I've got.
Yes, I got going down with this. Amaya, go to the computer. Oh, sure.
Are you Mr. Amaya?
Sir.
All right, so Mr. Amaya, you are charged with one count of running a red light, one count of driving without a license. Based on some of the information that I have here this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead and release you this morning. So it doesn't mean your case is over. It just means you don't have to stay in custody until your case is resolved, sir. Do you understand that?
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going home today?
Yes, sir. Doesn't mean your case is over. You're going to get your new court date in the mail, but you're going to be released today. Do you understand? Now, that's all I've got for you, sir. But as you step to your right, please speak with the deputies. They're going to have a piece of paper that they need for you to sign.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, come this way.
Good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Why,
Mr. Anderson, you are charged with one count of aggravated assault and one count of simple assault. Your next court date, sir, is going to be, should you not make your bond, August 12th. And that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom, okay? Again, August 12th, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Your bond amount, aggravated assault, is going to be $25,000. For the simple assault is $2,000, for a total bond amount of $27,000. Do you understand that? You understand, sir? Okay. You do have special conditions. Those will be to stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Kenneth Long, and to stay away from the address of 10555 Aspenwood Court. Do you understand?
55.
10555 Aspenwood Court, where this was alleged to have happened.
That's next door to me, I believe.
I understand that, sir, but you gotta stay off that property then. Do you understand?
So then is this a first offense?
Sir, I can't go into detail. You don't want to talk to me about that.
I'm just trying to see if I can get my bond lowered.
No, sir, you cannot. I have appointed you a court-appointed lawyer, sir, for these charges. So based on that, you will get a lawyer free of charge, okay? All right, sir, that's all I have for you, sir. Unless you got questions, good luck to you.
No. Mhm. So that's.
All right, should be Batchley, and then I've got Boykins after that. And after Boykins, Hall and Harris.
It's not letting him, Anderson sign, Your Honor.
Okay, let me go back in here and see what's going on. 7 summary. Everything is signed on my end. I'm not sure. I can let IT know on that one. I'm not sure why it's not
Okay.
letting them sign. Are you Mr. Batchley?
That's your arm side.
All right, so Mr. Batchley, you are charged with 1 count of theft by receiving of stolen property, 1 count of too fast for conditions, 1 count of window tint violation, and then you are lastly charged with 1 count of improper use of a dealer tag. The theft by receipt of stolen property carries a bond amount of $4,000. The too fast for condition, $500. Window tint, $500. Improper tag, $500 for a total bond of $5,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I understand that you are not currently working. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll see them.
So I am going to appoint you a lawyer free of charge. Lastly, sir, your preliminary hearing, because you were charged with a misdemeanor, you have a right to the hearing, or you can waive that hearing. Do you want me to waive it or assign you the court date?
Can you tell me the differences, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Again, the preliminary hearing is a date where you are present, the judge is present, police officers present, and your attorney to go over the facts of your case to determine if there's enough evidence for your case to move to the prosecutor. Or you can say, Judge, I don't want the hearing, and it'll move it a little faster, and I'll go ahead and send your case on up to the prosecutor.
By the way,
All right. So I'm going to show, sir, that you are waiving your right to your preliminary hearing this morning. And because you're waiving that right, sir, the deputies to your right there will have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that piece of paper, sir, that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
thank you.
Thank you.
He got a sign.
Yeah, he's got to sign. Hopefully it'll let him. Are you Mr. Boykins?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then after that, I've got Hall, Harris, and Jones. All right, so Mr. Boykins, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, family violence. That is a felony, sir. And so your next court date is going to be August 12th at 30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom, should you not make your bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, your bond amount is going to be $25,000. You do have special conditions, sir. Those conditions would be to stay away from a Mr. Carlos Jackson and also stay away from the address of 1122 West Shore Court. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently working, sir?
Oh, yes, sir.
And how much are you making per month?
It's like a temp service job, so we don't.
What's on average? Give me an average.
Okay, the most we'll make every day is like 500.
Okay, so in a month, you're making what, 3,000 or 4,000, you think?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Were you working when you were arrested?
Yes, sir. That's why I got arrested at my job.
Do you have any children?
Nah, I ain't got no children.
Okay. So as of right now, sir, you do not qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. So if you would like a lawyer to assist you on your case, sir, you will have to hire your own. Do you understand that?
All right.
Other than that, sir, do you have any questions for me about anything?
No, sir.
All right, sir. Well, then that is all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay.
All right. Are you Mr. Hall?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall, you are charged with 1 count of driving under the influence, 1 count of open container, 1 count of driving on the wrong side of the roadway, and 1 count of improperly parked vehicle. Those are all misdemeanors. Now, first, sir, before we get into any more questions, these are misdemeanors, and because they're misdemeanors, you are entitled to a preliminary hearing, sir, or you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do? Have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Mason and McClure.
I have that here.
All right, so because you would like to have that hearing, sir, what that means is if you don't make your bond at any point, then your next court date is going to be August 13th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's August 13th, and that's going to be 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as to your bond, sir, to the DUI, your bond is $3,500. For the open container, $1,000. For the first traffic offense, driving on the wrong side of the roadway, is $1,000. And then lastly, for the improper vehicle, it's $1,000 as well. Do you understand that?
So, base.
Total bond is $5,500. Okay. Lastly, based on the information that you've provided to me here, sir, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. You will have a lawyer free of charge to help you on your case. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
Sir.
All right, sir. Then that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Are you Mr. Harris?
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Harris, you are charged with possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana, loitering and prowling, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, 2 counts. Because these are misdemeanors, sir, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or as I asked the gentleman before you, you can waive that hearing. What would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing, sir, or waive that hearing?
What's a preliminary hearing again?
As I mentioned earlier, it's a hearing. It's not your trial, but it's where you're present, the judge is present, police officer, and your attorney, and they go over the evidence against you to determine if there's enough evidence to move to the prosecutor. If there is not, it's dismissed. If there is, then it goes to the prosecutor. Or you can skip that stage altogether. And if you want to skip it, I send it right to the prosecutor, and it just makes it move a little faster.
Yeah, I'll go skip it.
Right, sir. So I'm going to show that you are waiving your preliminary hearing this morning. Now, as to your bond amount, the possession of marijuana carries a bond of $1,000, loitering $1,000, and the 2 counts of delinquency $1,000. So your total bond is $4,000. Okay.
Okay.
Are you currently working?
Yeah, but it's like in and out jobs, like.
Okay. I'll go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge here. So you will get one, and it won't cost you anything to help you on your case. Okay.
All right.
All right, sir. So that's all I've got for you this morning. However, the deputies there to your right will have a piece of paper that they'll need for you to sign showing you waived your right to your prelim. And then that's it, sir. Good luck to you.
All right.
All right. After Mr. Jones, I've got Mason, McDougal, and McGee.
I already got them lined up for you, young.
All right. Thank you, sir. Are you Mr. Jones?
Sir.
Mr. Jones, you're charged with 1 count of DUI, 1 count of improper backing. Those are both misdemeanors, sir. Would you like to have your preliminary hearing that I mentioned earlier or waive it?
Wait.
Yeah, rolls.
All right, sir. So I'm going to show that you've waived your right to your preliminary hearing this morning. Your bond amount is going to be, as it relates to those 2 charges, beginning with the DUI, $1,500. Moving over to the improper backing, it's going to be $500 for a total of $3,000. Do you understand? Are you working, sir? All right, sir. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you an attorney free of charge. It won't cost you anything for your lawyer, okay? All right, sir. That's all I've got for you this morning. Good luck to you. Are you Mr. Jones? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. 1 second, sir. Okay. All right, Mr. Mason, did you fill out our paperwork here this morning, sir?
Which was for the lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I think I got it right. I think this is it. No, I'm not seeing it. I'll find it here in a second, sir. Let me tell you, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence, sir. Because that is a misdemeanor, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, sir, or you can waive that right to the preliminary hearing. Which would you like to do? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Preliminary.
I'm sorry,
Preliminary.
I can barely hear you.
Gotta speak up.
I'm sorry, preliminary,
So you do want the hearing?
sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna show that you would like your hearing. So if you don't make your bond, sir, then that means your next court date is going to be August 13th. And that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m. and that's gonna be via Zoom. Again, that's August 13th, that's 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that, sir?
I do, yes, sir.
Okay, now as to your bond amount is $2,500. Sir, you do have special conditions, and those are to stay away from the alleged victim, Mr. Rowan Palmer, as well as to stay away from the address of 5930 Highway 85. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because you are not working, sir, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge that will be able to assist you on your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions about anything for me, sir?
How does it become a family bond? Can you explain that?
Because the allegation is that you were living at the same place this other individual was when this happened.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Are you Mr. McDougal? Is that correct, sir? All right. So, Mr. McDougal, you are charged with 3 counts. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counts of cruelty to children, 1 count of simple battery family violence, and 1 count of battery family violence. Those are all misdemeanors, sir. So you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that right to that hearing. Which would you like to do, sir?
Waive it.
All right. So I'm going to show that you are waiving your right to your hearing. Now, because you are waiving your right, after we're done, the deputies will have a piece of paper for you to sign, okay? Now, as to your bond amount, each of those counts of cruelty to children carries a bond amount of $2,000 apiece. The simple battery family violence carries a bond amount of $2,500. The battery family violence carries a bond amount of $3,500. So your total bond is $16,000. Do you understand that? Now, because these are allegations of violence, you do have special conditions. Those are to stay away from Alana Joseph, as well as a Nataka McDougal. Do you understand?
Those are my children.
I understand, but for the time being, sir, you'd have no contact with them. You're also to stay away from the address of 6355 Lanier Road. So that was where obviously you were living before this happened. You are not allowed to return back there unless you are with a sheriff's deputy from the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Do you understand? You understand, sir? All right. Well, sir, unless you have any questions for me, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer here this morning to assist you on your case, and that's all I have for you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are you Mr. McGee?
Sir, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. Mr. McGee, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence, sir. That is a misdemeanor. So that means you do have a right to a preliminary hearing. Would you like to have that hearing, sir, or waive that hearing?
I'm saying if I bail out, you can waive by itself, sir.
Say that one more time.
It'll waive by itself, right? If I bail out, right?
Yes, sir.
I still have it though, sir.
So you want the hearing? Okay. So if you would like to have that hearing, sir, your next court date is going to be, if you don't bond out, it's going to be August 13th, 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's August 13th. That's going to be 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. As you noted, you don't bond out. Now, because of what you are charged with, sir, that particular battery family violence, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you 1, the bond amount, and 2, your special conditions. The bond amount is $5,000. There are special conditions. You are to stay away from Kiana Bailey, as well as 177 Lucan, Lucan Way. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Well, again, if that was somewhere you were living when this happened, obviously, you're not allowed to go there unless you bond out, and you have to get with the deputy sheriff's office, to go over with you, okay?
Yes, sir. My
All right,
bond,
sir.
5,000, right?
Say that again?
5,000.
Yes, sir, 5,000. All right, sir, that's all I've got for you. Good luck to you. All right. And is it Mr. Rose?
No.
What's your name, sir?
McClure, so Marcus McClure.
I can barely hear you.
Marcus McClure.
Okay, so you're off, Jots. Do we have a Mr. Rose? I've got Rose and Thomas next that are still on.
What'd you say his name? What's your name?
Marcus McClure.
He's off, Jots.
I'm apologizing, Your Honor. On my calendar is showing me that he's on Jots.
No, I mean, let's see, I'll go ahead and take him. Let me just find that paperwork. What's your name? You said McClure, sir?
Sir, Marcus.
Okay, I've got you right here. No worries. We'll go ahead and knock you out. All right, so Mr. McClure, you are charged with 1 count of battery family violence, sir. Your bond amount is $2,500. You do have a special condition that is to stay away from a Miss Lakeisha Wales, as well as from the address of 7944 Coventry Court. Do you understand that? So as I've mentioned to everyone, sir, if that's somewhere that you were living prior to this happening, sir, please understand that you are not allowed back on that property unless you are accompanied by a sheriff's deputy. Do you understand?
How much you say that bond was?
That bond amount is $2,500. Now, sir, you are charged with a misdemeanor. So would you like to have your preliminary hearing, sir, or waive that preliminary hearing?
I want to have it.
All right, so your next court date, sir, should you not make your bond, is going to be August 13th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom here on 2024. Again, that's August 13th of 2024. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. That's going to be via Zoom. Any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
All right, so Mr. McClure, that's all I've got for you this morning. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
What's your last name, sir?
Rose.
All right, so Mr. Rose, you here are charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, which is a family violence. Of family violence. That is a felony. That means if you do not make your bond, sir, your next court date is going to be August 12th of 2024, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, because of these 2 allegations here, sir, I am not permitted to grant you bond this morning, so you are going to be on a no bond status. However, you do have 2 other court dates coming up. The first is going to be your preliminary hearing. That's going to be on August 12th at 8:30 a.m. That's going to be via Zoom. Your next court date after that is going to be a bond hearing where they can reconsider your bond. That's going to be on August 16th at 8:30 a.m. also via Zoom. If at some point, sir, you're given bond, you will have special conditions to stay away from Ms. Kamala Kunis, the address of 40 Flint River. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, I have here that you are not working. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So I am, sir, going to go ahead and I will appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge. So you won't have to pay for your lawyer on this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. That's all I have for you this morning. Unless you have any questions for me, we're done. Thank you.
Sir.
Rose.
All right. Are you Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, you're charged with 1 count of robbery by snatching and 1 count of simple battery. The robbery is a felony, sir. And so I'm going to talk to you about your bond, but if you do not make your bond, your preliminary hearing, which will be your next court date, is going to be August 12th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom, okay? Now, as to your bond amount, the bond for the robbery is $15,000. The bond for the simple battery is $2,500. So your total bond is $17,500. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on the information you've provided, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer, sir. You will have a lawyer free of charge to assist you on your case. The only other thing that I need to make sure you understand, sir, is if you make bond at some point, you do have special conditions, and those are to stay away from Umbriel Lumpkin, as well as the address of 3640 High Point Lane. Do you understand that?
That's my address. That's not her address.
I understand that, but as of right now, sir, unless that is at some point modified, you have to stay away from that address. So if that needs to be modified, please speak with your attorney and they'll assist you on that, okay?
Okay. You said it was 17,500?
17.5.
Okay.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All
Tomorrow.
right, I'm showing Varner
Yes,
and Yeomans.
yes, last two on Jacks.
Good morning, sir.
All right, are you Mr. Varner?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Varner, let me get here. You are charged with 1 count of loitering or prowling. That is a misdemeanor, sir. You have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can choose to waive that hearing. What would you like to do, sir?
I want it,
You do want it?
sir.
All right, so your next court date is going to be August 13th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom if you don't bond out, okay?
Sir, Your Honor, I can ask you a question.
Hold on, go ahead, sir. I was going to give you some good information, some good news for you.
Oh, you go, Your Honor. You go, Your Honor.
Now, I apologize. I missed this earlier, Mr. Varner. I was looking at some information here that you gave us. That I read about you here, and based on that information that I have, sir, I'm actually not going to give you a bond this morning. I'm going to go ahead and release you. So you will get to go home today, Mr. Varner, but your case is not closed. You're just being released until such time as the case is disposed of. Do you understand?
Sir.
So now, because you're going to get to go home, there's going to be a document that the deputies will have that they'll need for you to sign. You'll sign that document, and once you sign that document, you'll be released here within the next 24 hours, okay? Mr. Varner, can you hear me?
Sir.
I said the deputies are going to have a document that they're going to need for you to sign since I'm releasing you today. And once you sign that document, you're going to go home in the next 24 hours. Do you hear that?
Thank you, sir.
All right, so do you have any other questions of me?
You have questions for the judge?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Yeah. Come on.
All right, and are you Mr. Yeomans?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Yeoman, here. Mr. Yeomans, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Your bond amount, sir, is actually you as well, Mr. Yeomans. Based on some information I have here, I am going to go ahead and release you as well this morning.
Yes.
And so you will not have to pay any bond amount. I am going to go ahead and appoint you a court-appointed lawyer as well. And so based on that, sir, as I just told the gentleman, Mr. Varner, ahead of you, you're going to have a document that they're going to need for you to sign. Once you sign that document, sir, you will be released to go home in the next 24 hours, okay?
Okay.
Now, let me make sure you understand something. Like I told the gentleman in front of you, Mr. Yeomans, it does not mean that your case is closed, okay? All that means is that you are released out into the public, until your court date comes. So we need to have a good address for you, and that's where your next court date is going to be sent to you in the mail. And until that you get that, you're out, okay? But you want to make sure that you come to that court date, otherwise they can put you back in. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right, sir. As I said, the deputies will have a document for you to sign. Otherwise, you're free to go.
Okay. I'm free to go.
Yeah, come around to the desk. Give me 1 moment, Your Honor. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the ladies that is non-job.
Yes, sir. No problem.
I make sure you see.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry about it.
When you get ready,
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Miss Kayla?
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Kayla, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated stalking and 1 count of obstruction. Aggravated stalking, ma'am, carries a no bond this morning. The obstruction carries a bond amount of $2,500. So, ma'am, I'm going to give you 2 court dates here this morning because you're going to be on a no bond status. Your first court date is going to be the date where you'd have your preliminary hearing. The second date that I'm going to give you is going to be a bond hearing date where they can reconsider, your bond and whether they're going to give you one or not. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So beginning with that first court date, as I said, that's your preliminary hearing. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you said something. Now, beginning with that first date, the aggravated stalking is a felony, and so your court date, ma'am, is going to be August 12th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. And then that bond hearing date is going to be August 16th, and that's going to be also at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom as well. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me about anything?
Yes, I do. About
Okay.
um,
Say that. I'm having trouble. Hold on. I'm having trouble hearing you. Say that again.
about the aggravating stalking.
Okay. Now remember, we don't want to get too into detail about it. So be careful what you tell me.
I just have a question about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Somebody that doesn't live there at the address.
I can't talk to you about that. That's getting into detail. You don't save that for your attorney, okay? You don't want to talk to me about that. Save that for your attorney. Okay, ma'am? Let me ask you, are you currently working?
No, I'm not.
All right, so ma'am, I'm gonna go ahead, Ms. Kayla, and I'm gonna appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge. And so you will get a lawyer. I'm sorry?
Attorney that will take my case already.
So if you have somebody that you have in mind, once that attorney gets on your case full-time, then they can always do what is called a substitution, ma'am. And your attorney will know how to do that. But for right now, just let me go ahead and appoint you somebody. Just make sure you'll have someone, okay? All right, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And are you Miss Hibbert Smith?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Ms. Hibbert, you are charged with one count of simple battery family violence, ma'am. Now this is a misdemeanor, so you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or you can waive that hearing, ma'am. What would you like to do this morning?
I don't really understand.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, ma'am, just to protect us both, I'm gonna give you that next court date. So we're not gonna waive it. The preliminary hearing is where you are present and your attorney are present to determine if there's enough evidence to keep going the case against you or to dismiss it. Just to make sure that we protect you, I'm gonna give you that court date. So if you don't bond out, your next court date is going to be August 13th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m. and that's gonna be via Zoom, okay, ma'am?
Can I say something, sir?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
I don't want to lose my job because I have my 13-year-old daughter taking care of. And I don't want to lose my home neither.
Yes, ma'am, and I understand that, but unfortunately, I don't really have any control over that because I do have to give you a bond, ma'am. And your bond is gonna be $2,500. And you're also gonna have to stay away from LaShawn Brown and that 8450 Glenwoods Drive address, okay?
Sir, I would do that.
Okay, ma'am. Again, your next court date, ma'am, is gonna be August 13th, and that's gonna be at 8:30 a.m. and it's gonna be via Zoom. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. Ms. Martin, ma'am, what's your last name?
Martin.
Yes, okay, that's what I said, Ms. Martin. So, Ms. Martin, you were initially charged with one count of battery family violence. Ms. Martin, I'm sorry?
Felony.
No, ma'am, that's a misdemeanor.
I don't understand. I don't.
Let the judge finish.
Hold on, let me get through it, Ms. Martin. I've got some news for you here. So, Ms. Martin, you were initially charged with battery family violence. However, that's a misdemeanor. They were alleging that you were involved in a physical disagreement with another person. However, Ms. Martin, there was some information missing on your case. And so because of that, I am going to actually have to dismiss your case here this morning. So you are going to be released to go home in the next 24 hours. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you. She came from medical.
Step up now. Does she need to sign anything?
No, she.
No, sir. She's been dismissed. Going home. Are you Ms. Morgan?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Ms. Morgan, you are charged here with 1 count of battery family violence. Your bond amount is $3,500. You do have special conditions, and those are to stay away from Sienna Relaford, Relaford, and the address of 5324 Crystal Lane. Do you understand that, ma'am? Ma'am? Okay. Now, because these are misdemeanors, ma'am, you have a right to a preliminary hearing, or as I mentioned earlier, you can waive that hearing. Which would you like to do, ma'am? Would you like to have that hearing or waive that hearing?
Wait.
Okay. And I understand that you're making about $875 a month. Is that correct?
Yes, I work 2 jobs and I'm over my husband at SSI.
Okay. So, ma'am, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer free of charge, so you won't have to pay for a lawyer this morning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The only other thing that I need to tell you then, because you are waiving your right to a preliminary hearing, the deputies are going to have a piece of paper for you to sign. And once you sign that piece of paper, ma'am, that's all I have for you this morning. Good luck to you.
Okay. Yeah, you could go around this. Yeah, they honor for Miss Hibbert. She would like
Yeah.
to know her bond amount.
Give me 1 second. I believe it was 3,500.
Is that 30,000?
3,500.
3,500, no problem.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bring out the male nunshots for you.
So when y'all had cake, it's be over.
It'll be at your house.
Y'all
Go straight to
they have we work courtside.
And what's your last name, sir?
Burgess.
Are you Mr. Burgess? All right. So, Mr. Burgess, you are charged here with 1 count of violation of the Controlled Substances Act. So possession of drugs, 1 count of possession of a drug-related object, and loitering or prowling. The drug charge carries a bond amount of $3,500. Drug-related objects, $500. Loitering or prowling, $500. So your total bond, sir, is $4,500. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as it relates to your preliminary hearing, sir, you are charged with felonies. And so what that means is, sir, is that you are going to get a court date if you do not make your bond. Your next court date is going to be August 12th. It's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, if you don't make your bond, that's August 12th. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be via Zoom. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, because of the information that you provided to me here this morning, sir, I am going to go ahead. I'm going to appoint you a court-appointed lawyer. So you will have a lawyer free of charge to help you on your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, I'll take him to the dorms.
All right, sir. Mr. Burgess, do you have any questions for me about anything?
No, sir.
All right, then that's all I've got, sir. Good luck to you. No, he's a felony, so he's got his prelim. All right, are you Mr. Cole?
No, sir.
And what's your name?
Eric McLemore.
Okay. All right, so Mr. McLemore, give me 1 moment here. All right, so Mr. McLemore, you are charged with 1 count of battery, simple battery family violence, 1 count of criminal damage as a felony, and 1 count of public drunk. The simple battery carries a bond amount of $5,000, the public drunk $1,000, and sir, you are on a no bond status on that criminal damage to property. You do have special conditions, so if at some point you are given a bond, you will have to stay away from Suzanne Downing and from the address of 4859 Bartlett Road. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, you are charged with felonies. You are on a no bond status, so I'm going to give you a couple of court dates here. The first is going to be your preliminary hearing date, sir. That's going to be August 12th, and that's going to be at 8:30 a.m., and that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's August 12th, 8:30 a.m., and that's via Zoom. Your second date is going to be the date where they can reconsider bond for you. That's going to be August 16th. That also will be at 8:30 a.m., and that also will be via Zoom. Do you understand, Mr. McLemore?
I don't the bond situation.
Sir, I've reviewed your criminal history and determined that you are not a bond candidate at this point. That's why. Any other questions, sir?
You said August 12th and August 16th,
That's correct. Yes, sir.
but on the 16th, is there a possibility I can get a bond? Cause I don't,
I can't tell you that. It won't be before me, so it'll be whomever is the judge presiding at that point.
what about they never told me about an attorney.
My apologies. I thought I told you, but I've given you a court appointed, sir, so you will have one free of charge.
And I will be able to speak to them before the 12th.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me, if, they're gonna do all the cases the same day, or is it?
I cannot, since I won't be the judge that you'll see that day. I can't answer that for you.
All right, but that only reason I'm confused is because you gave me 2 court dates, and that's kind of.
The first is your preliminary hearing date. The second will be your bond hearing. So you're gonna have 2 separate dates. One just to hear your hearing because you're charged with a felony. The second is to consider bond. That's why, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck to you.
No. Say your last name.
Tigner.
All right, Mr. Tickner, you were charged with 1 count of battery family violence, 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, 1 count of obstruction, 1 count of felony drugs, 1 count of misdemeanor drugs, and 1 count of hindering a telephone call. The battery family violence carries a bond of $3,500, the cruelty $2,000, the obstruction $2,500, the VGCSA felony $5,000, the misdemeanor weed $1,500, and the obstruction for $2,000. Do you understand that, sir? You do have special conditions, and they are to stay away from Dorinda Peak, excuse me, and the address 5530 Old Dixie Road. And so as I told the people that have come before you, sir, if in fact that's somewhere that you were living at the time that this alleged incident occurred, please make sure that you do not return to that incident location unless you are with the Clayton County Sheriff's Office within 10 days of your release. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And so, Mr. Tigner, the only other thing I need to tell you is because you are charged with the felony drugs, your next court date, should you not make your bond, is going to be August 12th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be via Zoom. Again, that's August 12th, and that's 8:30 a.m. and that will be via Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Right.
Yeah, 17.
They want 7.
Yeah.
Come on, sir.
Yeah, come on. Jake.
Excuse me, sir. I didn't get the bond total.
Oh, let me give it to you. Give me 1 second here. It is $16,500.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Warren.
And are you Mr. Warren?
No.
All right, so Mr. Warren, your case, it's a little different here, so we're gonna talk about a couple things. You, sir, are considered what we call a fugitive from justice. What that means is, sir, is that there's an allegation that you have a warrant, actually says out of the state of California, and that you at some point were here in state of Georgia, specifically in Clayton County, and you were picked up on that warrant, okay? And what that, I'm sorry?
I done been through it. This is like my 3rd extradition, so.
Okay. All right. So just to make sure you understand, sir, you got a couple options. Like I said, it sounds like you're familiar with it, but just so you understand, you got a couple options. You can choose to waive your right to the extradition hearing, and I will sign off on this paperwork after you sign. And then, of course, they've got 30 days to come get you, or you're released, or
It froze, how long you said?
30 days. They got to come get you in 30 days.
Yeah, but
Or you're, huh?
if I don't sign it, they gotta obtain a governor's signature, which is 90 days.
They got up to between 60 and 90 days, correct? And then you'll have that hearing set here in Clayton County where they'll have to prove that the procedure was done correctly, correct? So either 30 days and you'll head back to California to deal with this, or you may sit up to 90 days in order for them to prove they did everything correctly. That is correct.
Yes, sir.
Which would you like to do, sir?
Definitely sign it.
I'm sorry?
Sign it.
All right, so I'm gonna show that you're waiving your right to that extradition hearing. And so the deputy is gonna have about 6 different documents for you to sign. After you sign, I'll sign, and then the clock will start ticking, okay?
Okay, I got a question too, Judge.
Yes, sir.
I know that every jurisdiction I go in, I gotta sign this waiver, but they put the hold on me back in December and I signed an extradition waiver in Florida. I know you may not know because you're not in California, but will the time start when I signed the waiver? Because they put the warrant out in December and they put the hold on me December 9th. So I went to first appearance in Fort Myers and I signed the waiver, and it's been like 8 months. But I know now that I'm signing this waiver, will the time start now that I'm waiting on them, or will they try to say like, well, I was serving time in another jurisdiction? So they will try.
I understand you because you were serving time in another jurisdiction at the time, the clock will start now.
But it still was a detainer and a hold on me, and it stated that as long as I'm doing time and incarcerated, that time should count.
But my understanding is it doesn't. I mean, because I don't see the document that you're talking about. My understanding is it does not, though. I want to be honest with you. That's the way that I understand it. But again, without seeing the document that you're speaking of, I'm kind of at a disadvantage. So, I mean, that would be a question for you to talk to your lawyer about.
Yeah, it's just the same thing I'm signing now, waiver extradition. Like if I signed this now and then had to go to another county in Georgia, the time would start to like when I'm done with everything, right?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No further.
Yes, sir. Deputies, I had a Mr. Joshua Coles, C-O-L-E-S. It looks like he made bond. Is that correct?
Yes, he's out of bond.
Okay. And then there was Mr. Acosta, I believe was the other gentleman that we had sit down.
Get a copy.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna look here again, but I don't know that I got documents for him, so we may have to continue him. Let me look one more time just to double check.
You already sent me back. Should work tomorrow.
Let's see, was he?
Yes, I
Yep, they did not have him on the list, so I don't have any. Nope, I do. Give me 1 second. Maybe I missed it. Adrian.
Yeah, we did already send him back, so if you,
Okay, no, that's fine then. That's because I don't have it. I'm looking, I can confirm. I'm gonna go ahead and do a continuance order for that gentleman and have them bring him up tomorrow.
thank you, so right.
That would be Vasquez Acosta, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so
That should be everyone. Is that correct on your end?
Your Honor, concludes today's first appearance.
All right, I will see you all in the morning.
All right, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
So.